Looks like it's going to be do or die for Sami Zayn next week at NXT's special Takeover our Evolution. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason. This video is going to be doing my preview and predictions for the special I just mentioned for December 11th, 2014. It's going to be a 2-hour live special. It's their, I believe it's their 4th one now. And it's like their equivalent of a pay-per-view. If you haven't watched them before, I highly recommend them. Because there's usually the card is very well done, and there's also some surprises thrown in as well. I'm going to be going over the pre-show and the rest of the card and do my predictions for it. And so let's get going on it. It's like I said, it's going on next Thursday live, and the card is stacked. It looks really good. I'm really psyched about this. I just caught up on it this morning. I was had to watch about 2.5 episodes. So yeah, looks like the rivalries are pretty good. The pre-show is going to be kicked off half an hour ahead of time, looks like, and it's going to be hosted by Renee Young. The rest of the panel is going to be Jason Albert, Alex Riley, and there's also going to be a special appearance by Corey Graves, and he's going to discuss his future with the company. Now, I don't know if he's just going to be like sitting at a desk talking to him. I don't know if he's going to go out to the ring. I don't know. If you're not familiar with Corey Graves, he's been with NXT for a while now. He was in FCW too before, the company became NXT, its own brand down in Florida. And he suffered some concussions, 1 or 2 concussions. I have to go back and do a little research on it, but he's been doing, I haven't heard a lot, but from what I heard, he's been doing behind the scenes production and working with the newer guys. So, I don't know. I don't really have a clue as to what. I mean, obviously, it's going to be positive or negative. It's going to be he's done with the company, they're going to let him go, or he's going to make a big comeback. I'm hoping he makes a comeback because he is a good wrestler and he has a lot of charisma. A similar thing happened with Dolph Ziggler. He had a few concussions. They kind of lost their faith in him. Now he's getting to push again. I'm hoping the same thing happens for Corey Graves. I really do. But whatever it is, we'll find out this next week. So we'll see what happens. That's about it for the pre-show. Then to go down the rest of the card, it's first match I'm going to talk about is tag team match. Hideo Itami. I'm still getting used to some of these newer names. Hideo Itami and Finn Balor versus the Ascension. And if you've been following this rivalry, you know that the beatings have gone back and forth. Either, Hideo and Finn, giving the Ascension a beating, or like this last episode where it was pretty well even. And then Finn said something to the effect of, "I'm going to bring something you've never seen before." Now, some people would say, "Oh, is he going to bring a friend with? Is he going to bring a manager or something like that?" No, I think honestly we're going to see, for the first time in WWE, we're going to see Finn Balor in the classic Prince Devitt face paint and or body paint. And he was always accustomed in New Japan or in the independents or wherever else he was to have something related to the comic books. Now, for the sake of keeping it safe and not having to deal with, uh, you know, copyrights issues or anything like that, um, they're probably going to have him come up with something original, and could see something, I'm assuming it's not going to be anything copying, Gold Dust or anything, but it's gonna be fresh. It's gonna be a new look for him. I'm assuming this is what we're gonna see. I could be completely wrong. Maybe he's not gonna do the paint at all, but just gotta wait and see. But nonetheless, that tag team match is gonna be really good. I predict that Hideo Itami and Finn Balor are gonna win, and I'm also gonna predict that it might be the end for the Ascension in NXT, because they're due to debut on the main roster. I'd say any day now, honestly. Um, it's been a long time coming for them. It's getting to the point where, hey, um, you know, do something with them or split them up. Because fans of the tag team are getting anxious. Like, you know, I think it should have happened already, but because the main roster is in dire need of some fresh faces. And honestly, the tag team division in NXT, in my opinion, is looking better than the main rosters. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Then I'll get back to the predictions. I don't want to spend too much time on this. You got Hideo Itami and Finn Balor. Okay, great, fresh tag team. You got the Ascension. You've got the Lucha Dragons. You got Kalisto and Sin Cara. You've got, the Lucha Dragons are Kalisto and Sin Cara. I'm going down my list here, sorry. You've got the Vaudevillains. You've got, there's a few more. Um, uh, is it Ty Dillinger or Jason Jordan? They're a decent team. Buddy, I can't think of his name. Buddy, Wes Blake and Buddy something. Yeah, there's so many tag teams. Enzo Amore and Big Cass, they're probably my favorite because they're just the most entertaining. They're funny as hell. So yeah, there's so many new fresh faces and so many good tag teams on NXT. And man, they need to do something quick. All right. Sorry I got off the track there a little bit, but I just figured it was worth mentioning. All right, back to the card. And speaking of tag teams, the NXT Tag Team Championship is going to be on the line, defended by the Lucha Dragons, which is Kalisto and Sin Cara, versus the Vaudevillains, Aiden English and Simon Gotch. And honestly, when they first put Aiden English and Simon Gotch together, I didn't like it. But as I've been catching up on these episodes, I like what they're doing with Aiden English and Simon Gotch. They've got that classic, vaudeville style. It's like a throwback to the old silent movies, and the old, I don't know. It reminds me of old Laurel and Hardy skits, where, um, they're running from the cops, or they're trying to stay out of trouble, or they're, something, classic stuff like that. That's what it reminds me of. It's simple, it's funny. I like them. And what they're doing with the mini luchas, um, some people might get upset with them for that, but I think it's funny. I think it's funny stuff. It's not meant to hurt anyone. It's just them being heels. So, but yeah, this rivalry's been good. I don't think it's time for Aiden English and Simon Gotch to get the tag team championships yet. So I think the Lucha Dragons are going to come out on top of this one. Should be a fun match. It's two different styles of wrestling. Between the lucha style and the classic, um, more of a grapple technical style, I guess you could say, for English and Gotch. So yeah, but nonetheless, it'll be a great match to watch. Um, Next, there's the NXT Women's Title match between the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte going up against Sasha Banks, and this has been building for a while. Um, the only weird thing about this is Charlotte's been going back and forth, riding that gray area of baby face and heel, and sometimes you want to root for her, sometimes you want to boo her. But now lately, she's been coming to the aid of Bayley and doing more positive things in the ring for her friends and stuff. And of course, she's always getting beat down by Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks. So yeah, she's getting more cheers than boos lately. But I don't know. It's funny. She's not all bubbly. She's just more tough than anything, and that's fine. Um, she certainly isn't a Bayley, but she certainly is a good champ. Um, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. The last big show that they had, I know it was kind of rumored that Ric Flair was going to get a spot on the main roster again, not to wrestle, just they were going to use him, and I don't think they were going to use him besides coming out with his daughter, which is fine. It's you don't want to be in your father's shadow forever, but for support and recognition of the name itself, Flair, even though she doesn't use it in NXT, she just goes by Charlotte. Um, I'm okay with that, and obviously someday she'd want to try to break free from that, and she'll always have a piece of it, I think. So yeah, as much as I thought that she was going to go to the main roster with her dad, I don't think that's going to happen. Um, I think Charlotte's going to hang on. Excuse me. I think Charlotte's going to hang on to the women's title for at least another few months, probably till springtime. Could be wrong, but I think that's who's going to win. Charlotte's going to keep it. And last but not least, we've got Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville, and this this has been a great rivalry. Watching these two grow with the company. Adrian Neville's been champ for about a year now, and at least I think he has. Yeah, about a year since he won it from Bo Dallas. And yeah, and Adrian Neville's another one who's been riding that fine line of gray, going back and forth between being a good guy and being a bad guy, trying to show his friendship towards Sami Zayn, but then stabbing him in the back, doing something nasty to get a win, or something to that effect. And Sammy's sick of it. He's like I'm tired of doing the wrong thing because I give in to these positive ideas and all this stuff. And I don't think it's necessarily that he's gonna turn heel or anything. Um, he's just showing a tougher side, which is great, and it's gonna really help. Um, it's gonna help him with this championship match. Um, I think it's Sami Zayn's time. I think he deserves it. He's had, honestly, I mean, I don't think he's had one bad match. Even if he's been stuck in a ring with Titus O'Neil or something like that, he can still perform great, So I think Sami Zayn's honestly going to take the NXT championship this next week on Thursday night. It's his time. Is that going to boost Adrian Neville up to the main roster then? I don't know. Sometimes you assume it's going to, but we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. I think he certainly deserves it. He's good enough on the mic. He's good enough in the ring. I don't think he has to prove anything else, but, hell, I'm not running the show, so gotta wait and see. So with that being said, that's it for the card. Usually they throw in an extra match or two. Been noticing that Baron Corbin and Bull Dempsey have been crossing each other, over the last few shows, trying to do, the one-upsmanship and, I can take care of this guy quicker than you can take care of that guy, and vice versa. And I think it's going to come to a head at this next show at Takeover our Evolution. And if it doesn't, if it just continues to be more, one-upmanship, then that's fine. And they, drag it out towards, a couple of weeks or a couple of months from now, whatever. But nonetheless, those two are going to cross paths again and end up in the ring together very soon. And that's going to be a hell of a fight, honestly. It's going to be like, I can see it being like the NXT version of like Kane versus Undertaker, honestly. Two very powerful figures who don't say much of anything. And it's, I can see it getting built up to that. So, that's one that could be thrown in there. I think Enzo Amore and Big Cass deserve a spot on this special card. They show a ton of charisma. They're always entertaining. Put them up against one of the, other tag teams that hasn't been on TV much, just to give them a spot on there. Crowd loves them, and they know how to feed that crowd with their lines, their charisma is just outstanding. Some might say their charisma is better than their in-ring work, but nonetheless, they've all got stuff to learn. And but they're a great part of the show, in my opinion. Last but certainly not least, we've been seeing promos and vignettes for Kevin Owens, a.k.a. Kevin Steen, formerly of the independent scene, Ring of Honor, and all over the world. This has been a long time coming for him. He's been in the wrestling scene for, between 10 to 15 years. Was it 14? Something like that. 13, 14 years. And his last promo he did that they put together for him for this show showed him talking about specific people in the company. He tagged with Daniel Bryan several years ago. They picked him. He's up on the main roster. He went up against guys like Seth Rollins. They picked him. He's on the main roster. Top of the bill practically. Sami Zayn, good friend. They picked him. And now he's like, now it's my turn. You picked all these guys. I've been, just as good with them over the last several years. And sorry, I've got a friend down here. Where'd you go? Anyways, it was Shadow. Shadow, where'd you go? I felt the tail. Anyways, sorry. Uh, where was I? Kevin Owens. Yeah, he's going to be making his debut. Now, the question about this is, how is he going to make his debut? Is he going to show up, cut a promo, and then take off, just to introduce himself to the crowd? Yeah, he could do that. But I don't think that's what he's going to do. If you ask me, and I'll tell you, this is what I think is going to happen. And if it doesn't, I might be completely shooting for the stars on this one. But this is what I'd like to see. What I'd like to see is the match between Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville go, 25, 20 minutes, whatever, just to all out, duke them out, crazy, high-flying battle. One where you're on the edge of your seat and you're just exhausted or something like that. And finally, Sami Zayn wins the title. Streamers start flying. Confetti falls from the ceiling, similar to the other, wins of, Bo Dallas, Adrian Neville, or the first champ, Seth Rollins. Did the same thing happen for Big E? I can't remember if they did all the pomp and circumstance for him as well. I can't remember. But nonetheless, big celebration. Finally has his moment. He's holding the title. He's emotional. And all of a sudden, the lights go out. And the lights come back on. And there's Sami Zayn covered in confetti, knocked out unconscious in the ring. And Kevin Owens is standing over him, holding the championship. I would love to see something like that. The only other thing I could think of that I would be, just as good as that is if Sami Zayn, for some reason, does not win the championship. I still think he will. But if he doesn't, because one step that he made for himself is that if he does not win this, he's walking away from the WWE. I can see another scenario where he doesn't win the championship and he's distraught and he's upset, and Adrian Neville's cheering, whatever, celebrating in the ring, and everyone's booing him because he'll pull something. And Sami Zayn's like hanging his head. He's walking away from the ring, and all of a sudden, whatever music Kevin Owens is going to have hits, and he comes out to the stage and meets Sami Zayn on the ramp and grabs him, and he's like something to the effect of, "You're not quitting because we have unfinished business," and it ends something like that. That's a couple scenarios I have that I think would be a great ending to the show and a debut for Kevin Owens. Oh man, these new names. It's I'm not going to sit here and say I've been a fan of Steen's since he started, between 10 to 15 years ago. I was a fan of his in Ring of Honor, and what's the famous chant that fans chant? Kill Steen, kill. Kill Steen, kill. Well, okay, are the fans going to cheer kill, Owens kill, kill, Owens kill. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't sound the same. It's, or maybe they'll cheer kill Kevin kill, kill Kevin kill. I don't know. But nonetheless, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. I think they're gonna do something special with them. I hope they do, but as we as wrestling fans, excuse me, we as wrestling fans should not overthink this, because I've done this before and I've been let down. You just can't overthink this stuff, but once in a while they do come up with a special surprise for the fans. So let's hope they do something cool with Kevin. And gosh, that's about it. I can't think of anything else that like I said, they might have another debut or another match or something in the card somewhere they'll do last minute, just because 4 matches in 2 hours. I don't think they're going to leave it to that. There's going to be some backstage segments, some kind of interviews too, but yeah, the NXT shows are always great. I highly recommend it. If you haven't watched them and you're watching this, please go to the WWE Network, go check them out. You won't be sorry. They're not boring at all. They're great. One of my favorite things to watch, honestly. And hey, it's better than some of the 3-hour Raws you watch, because that's a lot of stuff to watch. But these are guaranteed a good time. So that's it. I don't want this to drag on forever. Those are my predictions. We'll see what happens this next Thursday. That's it. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.